Thursday, November 28th, 2019, MONERO 64, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. So yesterday's Thanksgiving Day in the United States. In the rest of the world, we don't celebrate Thanksgiving. But I would like to thank people all around the world, including in the US, for their interest in my channel. I started this channel exactly 4 years ago, of course, with less than 10 subscribers, very few subscribers. I think it took me about 6 months to even have enough revenues to earn some monetization. Now I make sometimes in one day what I made in those 6 months from monetization. So thank you very much for that. Yeah, we don't celebrate Thanksgiving in the UK, nor did we celebrate Thanksgiving in Brazil, where I grew up. But I do remember when I was at university in the States, one Thanksgiving, a good friend of mine invited me to go up to New York. It wasn't New York City, it was outside New York State, and spend Thanksgiving with his family, and I really enjoyed it. To me, it's similar to Christmas, all the family together, a lot of food, right? So I hope my American viewers have a great day for Thanksgiving. What do I want to talk about today? Well, I'll look at the markets, how they're doing. I'll look at some of the headlines. We've seen overnight, the main headline is that President Trump signed that Hong Kong Human Rights Bill into an act. I guess Congress, the House and the Senate passed it, and he signed it into law. The thing about the way I look at things is that I'm not in the United States. I've lived in the US, of course. I like the United States. I like American people. In general, I like people anywhere in the world, as long as they're nice to me, of course. But I would say, yes, what's happening in Hong Kong is not good. But how would Americans like if, let's say, the UK Parliament passed an act of Parliament saying the United States Gun Control Parliament Act, an act to help Americans with the problem of gun crime, right, and shootings. And I'm not saying I don't like the Second Amendment. I think it's a great part of your Constitution, and it's still in effect. A lot of parts of the Constitution have been diluted so much. So, but that's how would Americans feel about another country passing an act to try to influence things in the U.S. And that's what this Hong Kong Human Rights Act bill seems to me. We'll have to wait and see how the Chinese react to that, of course. So what have the markets done overnight? Well, let's have a look at the markets. I've got this new camera, actually. Hopefully it's better quality, and I'm using Zoom as well. So let's look at what the markets are doing. I know it's Thanksgiving, and the markets are going to be closed today in the US, but actually they're trading, the futures are trading here in London, even the US index futures, the CME doesn't seem to close even for holidays, right? What will happen is that trades done today will actually just settle tomorrow. They won't settle today because it's a holiday. So it's 8:04 a.m. London. So we've got spot gold up about $3 at 14.57. Range has been 14.54 to 14.58.50. So gold and silver is still in consolidation. They haven't fallen that much further. Yes, it's frustrating, but that's the way markets go. You need to be patient sometimes. You see here, silver is trading just below 1,700. It's at 16.99, up about 4 cents. You see the Dow here is down 82, so down almost 1/3% at 28,064. The low, as you can see, has been 28.50. S&P is down 9. So yeah, I saw an article yesterday that said that the S&P hasn't had a 0.5% correction in over 30 trading days or something like that for a very long time. The NASDAQ, of course, is down 20. The currencies, we're seeing the pound rebound in the last few days. Apparently, there are some polls showing that the conservatives are doing well. We'll see about that. It's 129.40, so it's up 0.14%, as you can see there. Recently, early this week, we got down to almost 128. The euro still pretty much unchanged here, flatlining, I would say, 110.10. Dollar is a little weaker against the yen, as you can see there. USD JPY 109.37. Dollar yuan, dollar up against the yuan, 0.2% at 702.87. It seems like when you get news that is not good for the trade negotiations, the dollar seems to go up and the yuan seems to go down. Crude oil, as you can see there, further down, WTI or US crude oil is down 0.2% at 57.70, and Brent is down 0.5% at 62.74. You can see some other indices here. The FTSE is down 31. The German DAX is down 52 points. What else have we got? We can look at. Yeah, I was looking at the Brazilian currency the other day. It's the USD BRL back down here. And why am I talking about that? Well, it's one of the biggest probably economy aside from China in the emerging markets. And their currency, I'll show you here a chart. Been having some trouble recently. There you go. This is a weekly chart going back to 2014. You can see there when this chart goes up, that means the Brazilian real is going down. That means the dollar is going up, right? And sorry about this. So I've drawn a teacup and handle formation, which is very bullish in this case here. You could call it a coffee and cup, a coffee and coffee cup and handle formation, being as it's Brazil. What does this formation tell us? Well, when you break out the handle here, as we're doing, it means that the dollar could go up the distance from the bottom of the cup to the top of the cup. So that's, let's say, 305 to 425. So that's like 120 points. So it means we could eventually go up to like 550 in the dollar. And that's a bad sign for the real, of course, for the emerging markets. Is there going to be an emerging market crisis? This could be indicating that. We're breaking out here. We still haven't broken out, as you can see here, the 2015 high from September that year. And I remember, actually, that was the last time I went to Brazil, and I was actually there when that high, the dollar made that high, or the real made that low against the dollar. So that's what the markets are doing this morning. So let's stop sharing the screen now, my desktop, and what else is there to talk about? I also wanted to talk about the fact that I also wanted to talk about the fact that the central bankers, the financial system, is moving towards this environmentally climate change agenda. And I can tell you, when I worked in the city, and this was back in '06, '07, '08 or thereabouts, they were already talking about trading carbon. I think the ICE exchange, which was later bought by Goldman Sachs, they started carbon trading back then already. So this is an old agenda. I've spoken about a guy called George Hunt. Unfortunately, he's no longer with us, but I highly recommend you watch a video he did from 1992. And I'll bring it up here on the screen, show it to you. Yeah, it's the Elite Plan Well Ahead, UN Unsaid Earth Summit 1992, George Hunt. I highly recommend you watch this video. You can find it in other channels. I found it on this channel here. Watch it before they delete all these videos. Very important. George Hunt talks about who's really behind this climate change or global warming agenda. And you probably won't be surprised. Some of you probably will. So I'll put a link below in the description and up in the cards above. So what's that got to do with what I want to talk about today? Well, and the central banking system, the financial system, trying to drive this agenda of climate change. And it affects everything. It affects investments and other things. And the investment world, fund management, right? So I saw this story in the FT this morning. Christine Lagarde, who's a convicted criminal, right? She was convicted in France. She was given a one-year sentence, but was never imprisoned, and she remained head of the IMF. She took over the ECB presidency the beginning of November, right? This story has just come out. Christine Lagarde wants key role for climate change in ECB review. Initiative likely to set up clash with German central banker Jens Weidmann, or Weidemann, as the Germans would say. Christine Lagarde is pushing for climate change to be part of a strategic review of the European Central Bank's purpose, spearheading a global drive to make the environment an essential part of monetary policy making. The plan underlines Ms. Lagarde's declared goal as president to make climate change a mission-critical priority for the central bank. It comes as in the European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, whose team on Wednesday was officially endorsed by the European Parliament, is about to unveil her first landmark climate change policy. So you see, these people are driving this policy. They're not talking about the fact that they're creating trillions upon trillions of debt out of thin air. Ever since the early 70s, when Nixon took the monetary system off gold, debt has ballooned. And what is that? Well, that is the consumption of future. And what is that? Well, that is just consuming today what you're going to produce tomorrow, right? So tell me that doesn't lead to, how can I say, uncontrolled development and consumption, right? The people who are making all the consumption and all the, how can I say, environmental troubles through their policies of easy credit, they're trying to say that they're going to solve the climate change problem. It's crazy. Anyway, yeah, and I was reading the Solari report, some of the stuff in there. I've actually subscribed now to the Solari report. And Catherine Austin Fitz talks about something called ESG. And it's funny because early this year, or is it last year? I don't think, time goes by quite quickly these days. I was invited to go to like a fund management conference up in London, organized by someone who used to be the head of my desk when I worked at GNI, which was one of the biggest futures broker well, it was the biggest futures broker in the UK back in the mid-90s. He was the head of my desk, and I still stay in touch with him. And he invited me to this conference that he organizes. And I was surprised that they're talking a lot about this. They call it ESG, environmental, social, and corporate governance. So all the fund managers, you see the central banks, they're all getting into this agenda. Just wanted to put that out there. Is it going to improve things? I don't think so. I think things will only improve until we go back on a sound money footing, when central banks' importance declines, or when central banks even disappear, I would say. So to finish off, just wanted to let you know that with Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, I've got a 20% discount in the MONERO 64 Teespring store. And this is the kind of thing you can get there. You can get become your own central bank mug. There's a Buffalo gold coin on it one of mine that I took a picture. There's the End the Fed mug, which is really popular. Retire the Old Lady of Threadneedle Street, which is the nickname of the Bank of England. So that's the equivalent of the End the Fed mug. It says, time to retire the Old Lady of Threadneedle Street and shut the bank's doors, right? Or you got Billy Silver mug, you got a Billy mug, and the Fed sticker, and the Fed t-shirt. Loads of products there with, there's one divide and rule free zone, right? There's even a Fibonacci, MONERO 64 with Fibonacci in Pisa. I was in Italy in early October, and to become your own central bank with a sovereign. That's for the my UK viewers, or any viewer really, if they like the mug. So yeah, 20% discount. If you were interested and you're gonna buy one of these, you gotta make sure that you put the promo code in. The promo code is MONERO 64. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button, share it far and wide, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. You can also follow me on Twitter, Steemit, and on DTube. I wish you all a great Thanksgiving day in the US. Elsewhere, I wish you a great day as well. Take care. Bye.